Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we just gonna talk while I'm cutting up some chicken here because honestly, I'm hearing stuff that's just absolutely ridiculous. First of all, the emphasis on players starting, that is not a thing. There's 82 games. I have seen coaches change their starting lineup 72 times throughout an 82 game spread. It's just gonna happen, man. You do not have to worry about a guy starting. I've been listening to this all my life. They put such an emphasis. Is the guy gonna be a starter? The guy's gonna be a starter if he's good or not. It doesn't matter. It's about who gets the minutes ultimately and who finishes the game. That's what meat and potatoes is, man. I watched the OKC Thunder start Andre Roberson and sit James Harden and go to the finals. And there was nothing wrong with that because James Harden ended up being the sixth man of the year. Ultimately went on to make $1 trillion, couple MVPs. Everything worked out for James Harden. It meant nothing, literally nothing, for him to start or rather play behind Andre Roberson in a winning situation. It made sense for the team at the time. It it was just what they chose to do as a squad, and it worked, obviously. So, again, stop this. For the love of goodness, all things basketball, stop this. There should be no emphasis at all going forward on whether or not a guy starts in the NBA. I just understand that Manu Ginobili played a whole Hall of Fame career and probably didn't start but 2 games his entire career. So, end it. End the nonsense. So that's what I wanted to say, the first thing. And I think just going forward, you know, I enjoyed watching what Draymond Green said in regards to the Drew League and the NBA finding something to do in August. Because I can tell you, even throughout July, with the Summer League just ending and a bunch of rumors and stuff to talk about, this has been a very dry summer. Very dry summer. So, if they can kind of work it out to where they take his idea and run with it, I want to second that by saying it's a great one. And basically, what he proposed was, while he was sitting next to DeMar DeRozan in a fantastic interview, I encourage everybody to watch. But he was essentially saying what they need to do is take each and every one of these fantastic local tournaments that take place in the summertime and find a way to sponsor it and attach itself to it in such a way to promote it like they did the Drew League game with LeBron James. That is the way to go. It gives us something to watch the entire summer, or at least for portions of the summer for the guys who want to, participate in it. And it's not going to be everybody. Most of these guys are going to be in Cancun, but you can schedule it to where the guys who are working out, can get in the gym and, make a few dollars for charity. Kind of showcase some guys that are not getting opportunities, maybe guys who may not be good enough to be in the G League, but still may have an opportunity to show that they may be good enough to play in various situations. That's what the Drew League can also do. It's another level for guys to prove themselves straight off the street. And you never know, you might find some talent there. I would not be surprised if a guy makes it in a path like that. I mean, you consider how many different tournaments are all over the country, and then you can expand that to all over the world. You think about the different possibilities, taking it to Serbia, maybe having some of these tournaments in China, having these tournaments in Europe, and just having it so that it's an NBA Cares event. You know what I mean? Something that is supposed to, pulse funds into these various circumstances in these various communities. I think you start here in America and you spread it out from there. Where guys can sponsor it where they represent themselves, where they're taking their money ultimately back home. You know what I mean? This is the way that they can, really experience something great for them, for their communities. And so I like that idea, and I think they should run with it. I truly think that's a fantastic idea. So I wanted to just further echo that as well on my channel. So that's also what I want to share. And what else? I really know that I don't have much else to say because everything else is just going to be improvising. It is the dog days of the summer. Any news that we get is going to be hearsay at this point, or something fluffed up that's meant to make us feel good about the NBA while it's not. actually taking place. So hopefully something like what I just proposed and what Draymond has proposed for first needs to take place so that we don't have too many more summers like this at all, especially when there's a stalemate. See, the difference is this year is there's no movement. Usually in the summertime, you would have seen a couple trades that would have had a bunch of stuff for us to talk about, and then from there you could start really talking about the teams because they would be complete. We know who we're going to see. As is, some of these teams are going to go out and just, because of the stalemate, probably struggle just because they're not constructed properly. You're going to see weird lineups on the floor, weird situations where you only play 6 to 7 guys, maybe a rotation, even though everybody's there, because the team is literally not constructed to be cohesive just yet. The Lakers are a prime example. Right now, if they were to run everything the way it is right now, we got players that can't play on the floor with one another. It's all bad. So that's something the NBA is going to have to fix, like, immediately, because it's going to have an effect on what we see on the floor. The product is going to suffer because of this. Because what you have is teams are not able to prepare. They're not able to get themselves in a position to know who they are, unless they've carried over their team from previous years. So, I mean, if what I'm saying is any indicator, you probably see teams that kept everyone together have good starts to start the season, especially if this drags out. Now, I don't think it's going to end this. I don't think it's going to tell the story, because teams will ultimately find ways of making trades after the season begins. But it's going to be an interesting start to the season. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If one of these teams don't make a move, just a move, any move, before training camp, I don't quite know how things will end. Put it like this: I think you can see a lot of uncertainty from there. So I think because of the pressure of that being in place, we may see an NBA trades somewhere within the next couple of weeks, because of the fact that what I'm seeing is it's going to come down the pipeline. It's going to become a situation where the league is going to pressure teams to do something, to simply do something. And so I see that coming. Last year I was able to break down all the teams and tell you guys what I saw on each and every roster, and that's something I'm hoping to be able to do. But until we know, we can't do that. Now, there are certain teams I can go over. Like, obviously the Golden State Warriors, they've made moves. I don't expect them to make too many more. But then again, KD is looming. So teams that you don't expect to make a move may. Donovan Mitchell going to New York still may happen. But it may take 3 or 4 teams to make that happen. So guess what? The type of salary that Donovan is going to be flipping around, significant, very significant changes for the team that makes the move. So with those 2 trades, or one trade that could be combined, still looming, and we know it's imminent, because these are superstars, they could literally go anywhere. That's the point. So it affects everybody. That is basically what I'm telling you. Yeah, just because I think I know what the Golden State Warriors look like, guess what? They can get involved in this trade. Now you're looking up, and they're sending out, say, Wiseman, Kuminga, you know what I mean? Various different players to make the trade match. Wiggins. I don't know that Golden State will do this, but I was thinking about something, so I might as well give it to you now. I believe it was Kevin Wiles who said that this morning he felt that the Draymond Green, Ben Simmons swap made sense for the Golden State Warriors. Now, I don't believe that I would necessarily do that if I'm the Nets at all. So I kind of just look at that and say, it's not going to happen. But from the Warriors' perspective, let's just say the Nets were inclined to do so for whatever reason. I do think the Warriors would stand to benefit from such a swap. And the reason why I would say something like that is because you look at the situation that they have here, where they could trade for Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant is a player that's going to require them to give up all them young players, as we've already mentioned, a few of them, more than that, and picks. What they would effectively be able to do by bringing in Ben Simmons is effectively replacing some of the youth that they're going to have to ultimately give up and bringing in KD. Now, that is what I'm saying to you. I don't bring Ben Simmons in place of Draymond Green if I'm not making a trade for Kevin Durant. If the team's going to stay the way it is right here, I'm not doing that. But if I'm making the big haul, if I decide to land on the idea that I need to trade for Kevin Durant, I'm going to ask for Ben Simmons. And I'm going to offer Draymond Green. Why would I do that? Because I think, first of all, I know their brothers, KD and Draymond, can effectively play with one another going forward. And if indeed they're going to make the trade to send him to the Golden State Warriors, he's, in my mind, saying that he's going to play with Dre. So this is not something I actually think would happen. But what I'm saying to you, if for some reason he said he didn't want to play with Dre, or if the Golden State Warriors are worried about a repeat situation, for which that's reasonable, which is why what I'm saying may be relevant. If they're worried about whether or not they're going to be cool going forward, even though they're brothers today, maybe they have their concerns that they won't be tomorrow because of whatever the environment will be once they make a trade like this, depleting the team of God knows everything. Literally everything is going to take to make that happen. Unless now they throw in Draymond Green for Ben Simmons. Why? Because Ben Simmons is effectively a salary though. In theory. So is Draymond Green. So they've not only canceled each other out, but because of the accolades attached to one another's name, Draymond being a superstar, champion, 4 times over, defensive, one of the great defensive players, glue guys, etc., does similar things as Ben Simmons. So if you're losing Ben Simmons, you would stand a reason why you would want to bring in a Draymond Green. It's a lot of different things that can be applied to Draymond Green's name, including the fact that he's on a contract for, I think, for another 2 years. I'm not certain about that. But that could be a selling point for why you would be willing to offer him up involved in your side of the fence. If you're the Golden State Warriors, this is why you're making the case that you would sell him to the Nets. In this situation, I'm bringing back Ben Simmons. I'm probably giving up all of these young kids, probably giving up all of my picks. And now I have Ben Simmons, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and whatever I retain. And the thing about it is, that fits just fine because what you have is a younger version of Draymond Green who should, in theory, do some of the similar things, if not better. It's supposed to be an upgrade. And even if Ben Simmons doesn't make a single 3-point shot, you don't expect Dre to make a single 3-point shot either, so you're not worried about that part. It's an upgrade in every way, so long as he remains healthy, and that is the point. That's why if you're the Nets, you don't mind giving him up because you really don't know if he's going to stay healthy. He was damaged goods when you got him. If he's healthy right now, maybe you sell at this price. Maybe he raises his trade value, you sell him later. If that makes a lot more sense to me if you're the Nets. But again, we're not necessarily saying this makes sense for the Nets. We're just saying we're trying to convince them to do such a thing. Can be clear. This ain't about the Nets' best interest here. We're talking about the Warriors and what logically makes sense for them in the event they bring in Kevin Durant. So that's what I have for you. That's pretty much what I brought to the table. I don't know if there's any other point to bring to that situation. Obviously, losing Draymond Green means you're losing a great portion of your culture. And you're going to have to work Ben Simmons in, and there's no guarantee he's going to just know what he needs to do. It's going to take some time. There's no guarantee he's going to be able to be Draymond Green. What you want him to be is Ben Simmons. You're losing Draymond Green. Why do you feel you need to lose Draymond Green? Why would that even be a thing? Well, you're losing Draymond Green because of the contract situation that's approaching right now. That's the only reason why you would even have this conversation, because otherwise Draymond is going up in the rafters, one of the great Warriors. Even if he's, going to have Father Time meet him now, it doesn't really matter because, like Udonis Haslem, to you he means everything. So you're not necessarily willing to let him walk out the door. But if he's going to price himself out of the game, knowing your circumstances, knowing what type of basketball he brings to the table at this point, it opens up the door for you to have to understand what life could be like without him and the benefits of maybe doing so. So that's why you would even involve him in such a thing to begin with. So that's how I'm looking at it. But I'm sure you can find different trades for him, right? But can you find better value for him than Ben Simmons if you're the Warriors? Well, that's something someone else is going to have to answer for me. I'm not sure. But if I'm losing Draymond Green, I want basically another version of him. And I'm not going to be able to get Scotty Barnes or something, you know what I'm saying? But I may be able to get Ben Simmons. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at it. If I'm the Warriors, it's only if I'm trading for Kevin. It's only if I'm trading for Kevin. You know, and I think illustrated most of the reasons why I would consider doing that if I'm the Warriors. Not very many if I'm the Nets, honestly. And that's because I really don't know what Draymond's value is going to be if he's going to go forward asking for a max contract. The Nets are not going to give him that. And so they're not going to want to bring him in for that reason. So I'm pretty certain that's the end of that. But nevertheless, if you're the Warriors and you feel this is the best value for Draymond Green, and you find for whatever reason that it's the time to move on and that this trade needs to take place, you can leverage KD's desire to come there, right? With the necessary need to move Draymond in the deal. You force their hand. I don't know if you have a right to do that. Maybe you have to put on some extra picks or something to make something like that happen. I don't know if that would even be necessary. It's a lot of things that fall into place for all of that to actually be a thing. But what I'm telling you is I took you down the rabbit hole of where that is a thing. and it makes a lot of sense, man. That's the problem. And I say problem because you don't want to move Draymond from Golden State ultimately, but it's too many different things pointing in that direction to where if I'm bringing Kevin Durant in, I need to be damned sure that the value that Draymond represents is going to continue to be that same value that it's been. Because if he's looking like he did in the playoffs, you're bringing Kevin Durant in, that could be a problem. That could be a problem in a lot of different ways, including with the chemistry of the team. Because if Draymond's struggling and yelling at people, that's not a good combination. And demanding money? No. That's three things I don't like about that situation. No. And he's getting older on top of that. So that means you're getting older as you bring Kevin in. Oh, no. That's what Ben does. He supplements that youth and raises value for what you're going to be bringing back. Because, as I said, Dre is not worth what Ben would be at his healthiest, obviously, because he's younger and you expect Ben's value to increase once he gets back on the floor. And if you remove all young talent and you only put Steph Curry and, of course, Kevin Durant on the floor, then Ben Simmons gets that same role he has in Brooklyn, which I would imagine is going to increase his value very, very much. You know, so that's what it is, man. That's what I give to you. Took a long time to get to that point, but I just thought of it. So, yeah, I would have made a separate video, but I don't care. There it is. So, that's what it is, man. I should have put some rice in already. The chicken's going to burn, not on par with the rice, so I may have to put the rice in the microwave, but I honestly don't care. As long as I get the video out to you guys, that's what it's about. So, appreciate you for rocking with BDF44, and that's going to be my video for today.